Hey guys, this is Bill from Spencer1984.com with another update to the Fall Guy GMC pickup. So, making some progress as you can see. I ran into a couple of oddities, we'll get to those, but starting out with kind of where we left off last week on the engine. And not a whole lot has been added to it since then. I did get the starter and the fuel pump on this side, and those fit pretty nicely. I got the fan belt assembly on the front, and that's okay. The alternator is pretty chunky. It's kind of a common thing with these older kits. I could have swapped it out for one from my parts box, but I think it's going to be okay enough, at least for this build. One thing that was not okay enough was the oil filter. If you look at it, you can see that fits pretty decent and doesn't have a whole lot of room for error, but this is actually the oil filter that came in the kit. And if I put it down, I think you can see the problem here. That old filter, the one that came in the kit, is like 1.5 times the diameter that it should be to fit on the engine. If I put it on like that, half of it would be sticking out. So this one is from my parts box. I have no idea what it came off of originally, but it fit, so that was good enough for me. And I think everything else is as you saw it last week, so not a whole lot more on that. I did get the first coat of paint on the body. This is Tamiya TS87 Titanium Gold. So I thought that looked like a pretty close match to what was on the show truck. And you can see how it went over the panel lining I did last week. That cleaned up pretty nicely. I did go through, sand and wash the body like I was talking about. Other than that, just a light mist of white primer, and then the gold. So I did the same on the box, and I'm going to give this another day or two before I try mask it off. I haven't had any problems yet, knock on wood.
Knock, 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 knock on wood.
But figure better safe than sorry over resin trying to do a two-tone. So, like I said, give this another day or two, then I'll mask it off, paint the brown. For that, I plan on using the Tester's Root Beer Brown. That was the same color I used on the White Lightning Ford. I think that's pretty close to what belongs on this truck as well. So, that'll be coming up shortly. Got the frame in its first coat of primer and did a bunch of work on this. First, you can see that the seams where I added the extensions have smoothed over nicely. I don't really see any seams or gaps in those, so that I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Also, you notice I've got a second fuel tank on it now. Now the truck does have fills on both sides of the box, so I did want to add that. And I pulled it from the same poor GMC frame, donated the inner fenders to the Lone Wolf McQuaid, and now it's donated the gas tank to this. So I guess I'm going to have to find something to do with the spare tire, and then I can finally retire this thing entirely. But yeah, just cut that out, did a little sanding on it, and it dropped right in. So that looks okay. And I've also got the front and rear suspensions assembled and in place. For the rear, I used lift blocks straight out of the kit. And for the front, I had to do something a little different. I'd started using those lift blocks, but kind of hated the way they looked. Because they came straight down and then straight across for the front springs, and that didn't look right at all. You look at the front of the truck when it was all together, and yeah, I did a quick mock-up, and they just hung down and looked wrong. So I heated the springs and curled those, and it did screw up the differential alignment a little bit. It's tipped. If you look at the back one, that's straight. The front one should be straight too, but the snout is pointing a little bit toward the ground. I really should have gone through and cut off the axle, repositioned it, but I had it all glued together before I decided to veto it, so ended up kind of tearing it all apart and rebuilding it after it was together, and I could only do so much with the parts that I had here. I did get the braces on it though, and I think those turned out pretty decent. Though these are the reinforcements that you saw in a lot of the jump trucks so that it didn't bend the axle when it landed. And I don't know if you can really see it. Yeah. Yeah, you can see I did add a brace to the pumpkin itself. And then I've just got the braces going out to about where the wheels meet the axle. As far as I can tell, that's about what it looked like on the full-size truck. And then the last thing is I got the interior just about finished. When I was looking up what color it should be, it was kind of all over the place with the number of trucks they went through on the show. You paint it black, brown, beige, dark gray. Seemed like anything and everything was fair game. So I found a replica truck that I just kind of liked the look of the interior and ran with that. So I've got the two-tone dashboard with the darker brown pad, brown carpet that I did with embossing powder. And I see there's a little bit of a scuff right there, but I think the four-wheel drive handle is going to hide that, so I'm not going to monkey with that too much right now. Beyond that, it's got some chrome details for the hardware, black for the pedals and the cup holders, and just kind of generally seem to fit the mood of the truck. I don't know if this matches any one in particular, but it seemed like it should fit the overall feel of the truck. Yeah, bottom is painted black. Got a little dust on it, but I'll be giving this another coat before it goes on the frame, just like you got to give the frame itself another coat. I also have to add the steering wheel and the lever, but that should be it for the interior. Now, as for the rest of the truck, the frame is in pretty good shape. Other than the final coat of paint, I think that's ready to go. For the engine, I got to add the top end details, the wiring, few little details, but generally that's in pretty good shape. The body, need to mask off and paint the second color. And then for the interior, just got a couple little pieces to add to that. Then it's pulling everything together. The decals, the wheels, the roll bar, the push bar. What else? Lights. And yeah, so I still got a fair ways to go, but it's pretty much, other than painting the body, all little stuff at this point. So I'm hoping to have this wrapped up for next week's update. You can check back then, and thanks for watching.